Okay, so when we got that,
What was the name of it again? I'm sorry.
hold on, I'm gonna put the link.
Put it in the chat, darling.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it now. Is that okay?
Yeah, hold on.
We don't want everybody online to get on it, right?
Right. Okay, here's the thing. How do I get it from here to the chat?
I'm typing it in right now.
Okay.
So there it is. And then
Right.
you go to what? Backing tracks?
Yep.
Okay. You'll look under backing tracks. Two monkeys jump back.
With two monkey solo sections.
Two monkeys solo section.
And then under lead sheets,
I think I found it.
under lead sheets, there's a chart called Two Monkeys Guitar. So hold on, I'm gonna email that link to Julie. Because fortunately, my computer is like has a lot of these files, right? So there's the chart, and then whoop, well, it hasn't gone out yet. There it goes. Okay, and then also
I'm not getting anything. Are you emailing them?
yes,
Oh. Julie Finn Music?
you should be.
Maybe you didn't have all in. Why not have any network? Anyway, how's everybody doing? What are you guys up to? Anything exciting in guitar world?
Nothing too exciting, but everything's good here. How about you guys?
Well, we've made it past the crazy busy summer, and now we're about to jump into the crazy busy fall.
Indeed.
Isn't that
New
how it
type of
always
busy.
goes?
Yeah, that's how it goes. But we
I was
are
gonna
super excited.
I was gonna say, Dustin, I like your guitar.
I was going to make a comment that
Wow.
apparently this is a guitar
Matchy,
club of
matchy.
the Eddie Van Halen
The
Wolfgang version of Guitar Club. It's funny, I don't know about you, man, but I have a bunch of them, and every time I'm like, which one do I pick up for Guitar Club? I'm like,
Oh,
it's just,
dude, it's
So much fun.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
I don't get enough of it.
yeah, it's become my go-to.
It
Does
really
yours have
is.
the D tuner on it too?
It does, yeah. I have the drop D,
Oh my
as
god,
well.
that thing is so.
Nice.
It saves me such a headache,
Right?
because the Floyd Rose, yeah. So just having it just right there, ready to go, it makes it so much easier.
Oh my god, rather than have one guitar for drop D, and yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it's great. And the neck, the thing for me, I don't know if they have the same neck profile. I imagine they
Yours
probably
is
do.
was yours a compound radius as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the
yeah.
the special, the not the USA version, but the special. I think you got like the.
Yeah. Mine's the standard.
Yep. But I think
yeah,
they
so
still
mine-
have like the same.
Beautiful
neck
color.
I think so. I think mainly the differences in the special and the standard are the electronics. I know for sure. Does yours have the kill switch as well, or does it?
Nope.
Nope, no kill switch.
Kill switch.
No, but I know. I think they still have Seymour Duncans. I think is that what you have on?
Yeah, I
Yours
think these
for
were the
pickup?
bespoke whatever the Fender.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
Whatever Fender
they-
made for Eddie.
Yeah, this was one of those guitars because I think the standards are around $600 to $800, and I got this one at that price and best bang for the buck. I think for any guitar.
Yeah, I think these are like 1,000 or something like that, or 12. And I
Yeah,
got this
yeah, they're a
one-
little
I
bit
got this
over,
one
but there's-
used for like 8.
Nice.
You
Yeah.
can't-
Heck yeah.
You can't
That's
go wrong
a
with
good
it.
deal.
Yeah. And I generally hate Floyd Roses,
There we
but
go.
Not on this one.
So this was my first Floyd Rose guitar, and the funny thing was when I first bought it, it had nines on it, and then I liked tens a lot more. So then I was like,
Yeah,
I'll put
same
tens
here.
on it, and then I immediately regretted that decision because then everything just went out of whack, and I had no idea what I was doing.
Had to do a new setup on it and get it ready.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
music.
So then I actually I added another spring in the back and tried to do the whole bouncing thing. I took it to a shop to double check. They said I got it close-ish, but I still had to like just work on it a little bit. But it was it was fun working the Floyd Rose.
Yeah, no, they've got to be in balance.
Yes. Yeah. But once they're set, it's great.
Yep, it's just that when they're not set, it's not great.
It's a nightmare.
It's the same for every guitar.
That's true.
It really is.
Yeah.
Boy. Okay,
There's a
so I put a few things there in the chat. If you are joining us on YouTube, welcome. This is John and Julie's Guitar Club Live, and we have some fun friends joining us today. We have Dustin, we have Zach. You go by Zach, right? Not Zach.
Yeah, just Zach's cool.
Zach is cool. We are going to be talking about lots of fun guitar things today. We sent over a backing track and a lead sheet, which you do get if you are in the Zoom. But
I sent the backing.
I got it right here.
The backing track.
Backing track, the lead sheet.
No, those are the PDFs.
Oh,
There's one more that I sent.
okay. There's one more coming.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about riffs.
Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, Julie and I were teaching at guitar sessions at Berkeley, which is like a week-long guitar camp kind of a thing. And Julie did like just a really great clinic on riffs, riffs and reuse of riffs in songwriting. And she did this whole thing where it was like maybe 20 minutes of your favorite guitar licks across the ages. So was it like 50 years of guitar licks?
It's called 50 Years of Riffs.
Yeah.
But it's really long, so I didn't want to play it for you here, but I will put the link in the chat too if you want to see the whole presentation. But I brought in my my PowerPoint because I figured it would be a fun thing to show you guys since you're both songwriters and performers, right?
Yeah.
You guys both
Yep.
right?
And riffs people.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm always a riff person.
And
yeah.
riffs are relevant if you have vocals or not vocals or lyrics or not lyrics. So
Yeah.
I don't even want to tell you if you look at the voice notes on my iPhone how many riff
yeah.
ideas are in there.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's,
Yeah.
What a
it's
great
wonderful.
tool.
Yeah.
Do you remember back in the day we had to have a camera, a video camera, a phone, a
No, I don't remember that.
GPS,
I remember
and,
doing
and
that.
a little
Yeah.
digital recorder. No, Zach, you're young enough to never have had to be in the dark.
I had all the luxuries starting off. It was so great.
Just an iPhone right off. You got it all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, Dustin, not to change the subject. The guitar that's directly behind you, what is that?
That is an
Where-
Ibanez S Classic.
Ooh.
Oh, I got one just like that.
I think you do, actually.
That's amazing. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think actually you were actually the guitar player that I saw like 10 years before I ever met you, and I was like, I gotta check out those Ibanez guitars. They look really cool. Put my hand on an S
You
series.
never
and I was
played
like,
an Ibanez
I was like,
before.
"Ooh." I had never played an Ibanez. It's never like in my valley.
Oh, wow.
Played the S series and boom,
I
I
can't
have
wait
one.
to tell them.
Right?
Hey, Ibanez, I sold a guitar.
There you go.
Where's my commission?
No, Zach, I've told John the story that I actually discovered his music through. He did a promotional video, like I want to say it's 2012 or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For the Ibanez S series, and I was just guitar nerding, looking for guitars. And
Yeah.
John does this promotional video playing one of his tunes. I think it was Bridesmaid.
Always a bridesmaid.
Always Bridesmaid.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to the music, going like, I don't care about that guitar. That thing's neon green. I don't want a neon green guitar. But who is this guitar player? Who is this? What's this music?
Yeah,
And
Oh,
that was really fun. They actually came into my office and we filmed it right in my office at Berkeley.
that's cool.
nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
2012. I must have been 9 years old. So yeah,
So you weren't
make me
quite
feel
playing guitar yet, yeah.
I was a year shy of starting. Yeah.
Oh my
Nice.
goodness.
Wow.
Very cool. All right, so let's take a look at some riffs. Anybody want to talk about riffs?
I want to talk about riffs.
Okay, I'm
I'll
going to
pull
share my
that away.
screen here. Here we are. Here's my intro video, my slide. All right, so what is a riff? A guitar riff is a short, catchy, and often repetitive sequence of notes or chords played on the guitar. Riffs are typically memorable and serve as a key element in a song, often forming the backbone of a track or being its most recognizable feature. They can be found in various genres, especially rock, blues, metal, and funk. Riffs can be simple or complex, and they can be played with different techniques such as picking, strumming, or using effects like distortion. So here is the beginning of my presentation on riffs, but I'm going to go through all these because if you would like to see it, I put the link in the chat. But let's talk about writing them. All right, here we go. So one important aspect of riffs, you have to decide the key, right? What do we normally pick as guitar players? I bet we pick A, E, definitely a minor, maybe a pentatonic, right? So pick a key that suits the mood you want to create. The common keys for rock riffs are E minor, A minor, and D minor. And then select a scale. I find that most of mine are going to come out in pentatonic, but not always.
Not always.
Not always. I have the one from Gortwheel that's a little bit Lydian.
Yes.
But I find that maybe when I'm writing lyrics for a song with lyrics and vocals, I tend to stick in that pentatonic range because I love it. It says rock to me. But there's also major, blues, Dorian, Mixolydian, anything you could ever imagine. But starting somewhere, choosing something at the beginning is really important. You want to think about your chord progression. I mean, some riffs, like if you think about, does anybody know what this is? Right? So that whole verse is just that one riff repeating, you know, and it's just on an E minor. So you could do that for a whole section, but there's going to come a time in your song where you need a progression. Power chords are classic if you think about any of those riffs. I mean, what would be without a power chord?
Right?
So many of them have power chords. But, you know, it's just a root and a fifth. You can also add the other root. I don't have to talk about that to you guys. But if anybody in YouTube land wants to know more about power chords, you can watch the entire presentation. But they really have this open kind of ambiguous sound where it's not major or minor, and it just sounds strong and rhythmic. All right, and then once you've decided on your key, your scale, you can experiment with rhythm, play around with timing, experiment with different rhythms. A riff can be syncopated, straight, or swung. Think about the rhythm, how the rhythm interacts with the beat of the song. So syncopated, we have a song called Slain and Pimple. That's kind of, some of the notes of the riff happen on a beat. Some of them happen on the ands, right? You want to play that for people?
Sure. So yeah. So the original title for the song was E flat, plain and simple. And you know, when I wrote it, what I was thinking about was to kind of start with like a simple A minor lick, right? But then every once in a while pepper in the E flat. But every time the E flat comes in, put it in a different rhythmic spot, right? So it was kind of like
It's moving over an eighth note each time.
Yeah, so it's kind of almost like musical soda crew, you know. So anyway, so 2, 3, 4, 1. 1. There's the first E flat. 1.
There it moved.
Yeah, so that's the, you know, so that's the basic idea of the riff.
So we've got syncopation happening in there. We're working out of the minor pentatonic. Those are choices we made deliberately.
Yeah. So
but
so it's mostly A minor pentatonic with the occasional E flat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and the occasional F sharp over the D7 chord.
But if you look at a song like Black Dog, so that riff stays the same every time you hear it, except when they have that variation that happens at the end of the verse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see, you can keep it the same, you can change it, you can change the rhythm. If you think about straight eighth notes as opposed to swung, like if we look at Paranoid, those are straight eighth notes, but we could always play Paranoid swung.
Oh no.
If you swing eighth notes, you want that first eighth note in the pair to be a little longer than the second one. So here is Paranoid straight. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Again. Straight eighth notes. I'm feeling paranoid. Now let's swing.
Right?
So you can see they have a completely different feel. And perhaps the swing version you wouldn't really call paranoid. Maybe you'd call it bipolar or...
Yeah, exactly. Call it bipolar.
Bipolar. I don't know. But then there's manic depression too. I love that one too.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
I would say instead of being paranoid, I was like slightly bothered
slightly bothered
because
just a little bit.
you know, it's a little swingy.
A little swingy. But at the end, you're kind of like, who cares?
Right.
I'm over it. All right, so you want to think about how the rhythm is going to interact with the beat of the song, and as well as your lyrics, as well as the tonal center that you've chosen. They all kind of work together to convey the mood that you're wanting to talk about.
Yeah.
So repetition is really important. That makes a riff memorable. I mean, we have heard those songs that just are completely changing over and over and over, maybe in prog rock or jazz, fusion, things like that. But most of us are probably going to write a song that will have a riff that repeats. And then you want to repeat a phrase, but then maybe alter it a little bit each time, like we did the E flat. You want to leave some space sometimes to create tension and release. Just many, many options to consider. We can also incorporate techniques like hammer-ons and pull-offs. These techniques add fluidity and speed to a riff. We can add slides and bends. Weren't we just talking about Always a Bridesmaid? John, show the Always a Bridesmaid.
Okay,
This has slides and pull-offs and hammer-ons.
Yeah. So the whole idea, like when I wrote this lick, what I was thinking about actually was I was doing a little exercise, like, you know, like what happens if I slide up and then slide backwards, and then just keep changing string sets and then slide up and slide down and see what I get. So, you know, so I'll play the lick. 3, 4. And then from there it goes goes to F sharp. So that's one of the things with this is like for the most part it's A Dorian, but there's the occasional E flat in that as well, but just for that blues note effect.
Right. Diddle-diddle-diddle.
Yeah.
You got
Thank
it.
you, Julie. I needed after listening to that, I needed to hear that riff. Like my ear needed to hear
It was in there. It's very satisfying, and it's fun to watch too. All right, so we can also palm muting is really important in rock, I would say. Now you
Oh yeah.
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 So you can open it up to give it a little bigger sound, or you can make it more percussive and do the palm muting, which is pretty fun.
Which, by the way, it's also it might be worth mentioning in Always a Bridesmaid. We were talking about swing versus straight. Most of Always a Bridesmaid is swing 16th, right? So, right. But then when it goes to that F sharp section, still swing. Here it goes to straight 16th notes. Swing. So that was one of the things I had to practice is going and then there's a lick towards the end of it. And then here is a group of five. Right? So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1. Then fives. So what I had to practice for that was be able to like quickly switch gears and keep the tempo constant. So
what you did for each section, you created these repeated phrases.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So the fives, you don't just do da 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 deca 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 deca.
Right. No.
1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. Right.
Yeah, long enough so that the listener has a chance to kind of grab onto it, but not so long that you get settled in.
Right.
I mean, a big part of the way that tune is written form-wise is a lot of the phrases are written to kind of get you to a certain point within the tune, and then like rhythmically not necessarily resolve it the way that you would expect to hear it. You
always add a little sense of humor
Yeah.
in all of your songs.
So it's the kind of thing.
It's
So
never just straight.
right.
Yeah.
So we try to write the phrase so it's like, okay, you think it's going to land here, but like, nope, not yet.
Whoops. Went sideways. I probably write more traditional than you.
Maybe
Mine's-
I
I have a song called Let It Roll. So it's just, it's real straight. It's in the A minor pentatonic. It doesn't really swing.
Well, it's not
But it's real straight rock.
But it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to swagger.
Yeah.
You know.
And it has a melody. It repeats.
Yeah.
It has a little melodic idea, which is melody is the next thing we need to consider when we're writing riffs. Try incorporating melodic lines within your riff. That'll make it more catchy and memorable. And then the repetitive motifs. So a motif is a very small little snippet, right? So on mine, it's, and then on John's, it's boo-doo-doo, That's boo. So you play a note, then you play another one and slide up.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
go slide down. Yeah.
Then
So
then-
if we broke it down into the smallest little
Yeah.
motif, it's ba ba da,
yeah, that's true.
ba ba da ba da ba da ba da, right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
But it will anchor it, and you can move it around too. So on my riff in Let It Roll, for the solo section, we play the entire riff, but we move it up to C minor instead of A minor. So that's a fun thing if you create something you like. Now C. And it goes back to the A. So sometimes you can just go to the next place and stay there, and then sometimes you want to travel back. But those are things you'll answer with your own songs. All right, and then you can experiment with effects, of course, distortion. A lot of times I have distortion on mine. It'll add grit and power, delay and reverb. They'll add space and depth, a wah or a phaser. Like, what would this be? What would that be without the wah, right?
Right.
It's a signature part of it.
Walk, go walk, walk, walk,
Wow,
walk, walk, go walk.
wow, right? So anyway, refine and simplify. You want to edit sometimes. If your riff is feeling a little too noodly, maybe break it down into the smallest little snippet and see, oh, what could make it a little more grounded and stable. You can remove unnecessary notes or complexity to make the riff stronger. And then you'll always want to focus on groove and make sure you can lock in with the rhythm section, bass and drums. Unless you're playing on your own. If you're doing an acoustic thing, you still want to think about hooks. You still want to think about repetition, but you're going to be locking in with your own self. All right, so in the end, think about these things. They're not rules, as just tips to help you get started. And Dustin, you have riffs on your phone and you've written. Do you have anything out on Spotify?
I don't actually.
Okay.
I think
All
the only thing I've ever posted publicly was for Zach's benefit. Zach, you wouldn't know this. When we started Guitar Club a ways back, John and Julie gave me some backing tracks, and
Yeah.
they came from one of John's programs and their point of them giving them to me was to improvise over, and I decided to take it to the next level and just orchestrate some guitar songs over these backing tracks.
Yep, you did harmonies and things too.
Yep. Yeah, and did melodies and harmonies and all that sort of stuff, and actually use them as a compositional aid as opposed to improvisation. Although all those compositions were improvised, and so I've shared those with friends, but I think I've shared them publicly, like on Facebook, but nothing on Spotify now.
All right. And Zach?
I'm probably around the same page as Dustin. I haven't posted anything online or anything like that, but I'm just the same way with him, where if I have an idea, I'll come up with something, I'll be like, oh, that's kind of cool, and I'll kind of save it for later, record it on my phone, put it there. But nothing ever gets, I think I was talking to John about this before, I always have these unfinished projects. They're never done. There's always like, oh, I got this little part right here, and then, oh, I got another idea, let me start on that. And then it just becomes something that goes on the shelf. But, yeah, that's how it kind of happens for me.
Well, it's funny you say that, Zach, because I made a deadline for myself to do these compositions for Guitar Club, and I wanted to turn them in like homework to John and Julie. I intentionally waited, also because I'm a massive procrastinator. I intentionally waited until 8 hours before I had to turn it in, or the morning of, or the evening before to even
Nothing
start.
like a deadline.
But what's great about that is it forced me not only to come up with an idea, but to not overthink it, commit to the idea. Hey,
Not
that works or it
agonize.
doesn't.
Right.
Throw it out, come up with something new. the pressure of it made me commit to the idea and move on it.
Yeah, definitely the longer you have it, the more you start second guessing everything.
Yeah.
That being said, there's some great songwriters out there that say the first part of the song arrived to them, at this point, and then 10 years could never get it right. And 10 years later, they finally got the chorus down.
That happened.
Right.
That's happened to me
I
a
see
lot.
John holding his hand up right there.
Like committing to something. Sometimes you don't get that other part because you just keep thinking about it and you don't actually sit yourself in your chair to write the other section.
You know,
You know?
one of the things that I think I wanted to say about that is there's an old saying, I think it was originated by Walt Whitman, who said you never really finish a work of art, you just abandon it.
Abandoned. Well, that's why we say release a song.
So
It's never finished.
well,
Yeah.
and my own experiences with that have been, I can't tell you how many times I've recorded and released something, only to go to the band and say, "Hey, I want to do this completely differently."
You get another idea and try
Yeah,
it.
and then some other idea comes up, and the band's live version of the song ends up being completely different than what we released.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yes,
But
it
put
is.
out stuff. That's what I always do.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Is that to think of that? What I've learned to do is to think of the moment that you release as just sort of a snapshot of your life in that moment. So what I try to think about is, like when I'm working on a recording, I'm working on recordings now, and what I'm thinking about is I want to do the best job that I can do, but at some point, I have to stop working on it because I'm just not making any progress. So then I just sort of have to acknowledge this is the best I'm going to get it, and then just let go of it, because one thing I've also definitely learned is that the ways that other people react to the things I come up with is often incongruent to how I feel about something. I can't tell you how many times I've showed up with an incomplete song. So Film at 11, very first album, there's a song on the record called Film at 11. The way that originated was I was getting together with the guys in the band on Tuesday night, and I was trying to discipline myself to have something new to bring to the band for every rehearsal. So Monday night comes along, it's like, oh shit, tomorrow's rehearsal, I've got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing. So
Nothing like a deadline.
Right. So I just kind of reached into that box of licks that I had, just like on your voice recorder, and just said, okay, here's the A section, here's the B section, here's the C section, here's the D section, and then to get out of it, I'm just going to do those same things, but just in the reverse order, and that's my song. Different keys, different tempos, different feels, different everything. Nothing was related to anything else. For me, it was just something for us to chew on for a couple of hours. But what was really surprising to me, I was thinking they're going to know right away that I'm just completely bowling on them, But they didn't know that that's what I was thinking. So they started working on it and going, oh, this is cool. This is kind of different. How are we going to get from this to this? And they just kind of worked on solving the problems. And the solutions they came up with were brilliant.
Yeah.
And I came away just being utterly blown away by that. So, what it proved to me was just this idea that how I feel about what I've written is often isn't in line with how other people hear it. I've also written some things that I think are brilliant, and people go, yeah, cool,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, whatever, and I'm like, don't you understand my
I'm
brilliant?
bearing my heart and soul.
Right.
They're like,
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
very nice.
Golf claps.
I hear what you're trying to do. No thanks. But anyway, how can we encourage you to finish something this week? Do you have any trouble coming up with ideas, or is it just things that go together?
It's usually things that go together for me. I'll come up with something, and then the hardest part is I might have an idea, and then I'm too critical on how I want it to go next, because there'll be a sound in my head, and then I'm just like, I can't find it.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, here's an idea on that.
I want to try a little experiment. Okay, so let's say I've got a chord progression. Let's say it goes from E to C to D to A. So a D
Yeah, D.
to A. Okay, so what? So give me the chord that would be utterly unrelated to any of that. Like, what would be the worst chord that you could possibly get to after any of that? And don't
E
overthink
flat.
it. E flat, okay? Okay, major or minor?
Major. Do major.
Okay. So,
1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know.
Leave it to the Berkeley teacher, right? Yeah.
well, what I'm saying is,
Try something,
yeah. So
even
what-
something that would be absurd.
sometimes the best thing you can do is the worst thing you can
Yeah.
do. You know what I mean? Just because, like, if you play like the worst next chord, one of the things that does is that creates what I would call harmonic tension,
Hmm.
because there really isn't any such thing as a right chord or a wrong chord.
Sure.
So, like
Dissonance or consonance.
yeah. So
Same with notes.
so it's like you guys started laughing when I hit the second chord. Because
Right, so it made
the
sense.
reason is because oh wow, that totally makes sense.
Yeah,
Right.
Because of how good it sounded. Yeah.
but it took you sideways.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's good.
Right. So that's kind of what I'm getting at is sometimes when you're writing chord progressions, sometimes I think it's good to be fearless about it. I was in a I was in a like an advanced harmony class at Berkeley, and I remember the last day of the last class, the teacher says to me, he says, so what all this means, and he had been, really going deep into deep down the rabbit hole, and at the end of it, he says, so what all this means is that any chord can follow any other chord, and if you like the way it sounds, there's probably a theoretical reason as to why it works. So when you're writing chord progressions, don't worry about the theory. Just write fearlessly.
And we want to stay in a key, we think.
Right.
I had this chord progression.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to figure out what my verse is, but John said, oh, do F sharp minor. And I thought, but here I am, F major 7 to G13, A minor. What is that? And then I thought, and then I had a melody already, but I think it was this. A minor to F major 9, right? That was the verse. But he said, start on the F sharp and then do D major 9. And then I was like, I can't breathe, I can't feel a knife slice through my skin. Then I went to the A minor, fresh wounds that cut deep. So it's the same
Yeah.
quality of chord, minor to major 9, minor to major 9.
And
It
the-
was so weird, but the melody of the second section starts on the same melody note as the first section.
and
Sounds
that
great.
ties it together.
It's so weird. But he encourages, I was at first like, no way, that doesn't work. And then I was like, wait a second, you're right. He's so smart.
It's the second time I've been writing my whole life. And you heard
Something
it.
that you say all the time. You're
What?
right. I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see.
He says it reluctantly.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
You're right. I was wrong,
I was wrong.
I'm sorry.
I'm terrible.
That sounds like a song title to me.
Yes, it
Could
is.
be.
It's a really important phrase to learn in your marriage.
Yes, that's
I
true.
think. I think.
Oh yes.
Right. So, do you want to talk about Two Monkeys solo section?
Sure.
We
So,
have about 10 minutes.
okay. So one of the things I was thinking about too was we talked about you doing some kind of a collaboration thing. So here's what I'm going to suggest: that backing track, download it, put it in your DAW, okay, and work on recording a solo over. Well, the way that it's set up is like the solo section just repeats over and over and over again, and you can hear it kind of loop back to the beginning, like as the progression plays out, the rhythm section just kind of gets more and more and more intense and more intense, and then it drops back down.
Have you heard Two Monkeys Jump Back, both of you? Okay.
Okay, so yeah,
Talk
so
about a cool riff.
yeah, so the tune itself, the main body of the tune is sort of what happens when you start with a lick, and then from there just do as many variations as I can do. I'll tell you what, I'll play up to the beginning of it, the beginning of the solo section, so you can hear it.
Can I play too? I'll try.
yeah.
Try not to.
Yeah, absolutely. You kidding? Let's see.
Two monkeys,
Two monkeys
jump
jump
back.
back.
Are we muted?
You hear a change. Bass melody. Okay, now here's the solo section. So C sharp minor, E, C sharp minor again, D, okay, so that's the solo section. So what I thought was download the solo section, put it in your DAW, record a solo over it, send me two things. One is the mix of you playing with the solo with the backing track, and then two, just the stems. And once I get enough people together, I'm gonna I'll put out like sort of a collaboration recording featuring everybody.
Oh.
Okay, so what you do is just the first thing is just send me a mix and send me just the stem. Okay, so the chord progression. So C sharp minor. Okay, to E. Now all of that can be either played as C sharp minor or E major, either one. Okay? Now, the next three chords are going to be D, A, and E. So D, A, and E come from the key of E mixolydian. So it's the key of E major, but flat the seventh. Right, so there's the D, A, E, A, E. So D chord, A, then a B major chord.
You have to change keys a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a key change in there. But what's so when I solo over it, I mostly think about, am I playing D sharps or am I playing D naturals? You know, but then I'm also sort of keeping an ear towards what chord, right? So if I'm soloing over it, you know, I'm just going to try to, like, I'm going to start over one chord and think about what chord coming next and how am I going to get there. So.
You want me to play it? Or are you going to play along with them?
No.
You hear it?
Is the E? Is the D natural? Then the B chord. Right? Does it make sense? Julie, want to take a run at it?
Sure.
All right. Here's Julie.
Here we go.
kind of keep going,
It
right?
could go forever. It's fun.
That gets a real clap, not a golf
Yeah, that's
clap.
the not another golf club, the real one.
That's the real clap.
Thank you, thank you. How much time do you think you'll need? Like, we're gonna get. To, do you think you might? Do you think you might be able to have something done for the next time?
Yeah, I think sooner the better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'd be able to.
Cool. All right, and like anything goes. The solo section. So the resource that we gave you was one is the chart for the complete tune if you want to learn the whole tune. Two is just a worksheet for just the solo section, which gives you the chords and gives you suggestions for target notes and gives you suggestions to things to think about for scales. Okay, but at the end of the day, it's your solo, so
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Take them as suggestions, but work out kind of your own thing fearlessly.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, Liam.
Oh man. Okay, so he can come in just as we're.
Liam's here.
Liam, maybe you thought it was 8. Is it always 8?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's usually 7.
Oh, it's always 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Liam.
Hey,
Hi,
Hey,
Liam.
how's it going?
So your timing is almost perfect. We were just getting ready to wrap up.
Innocent.
I was kind of watching because I had my class. Unfortunately, they picked 7 o'clock on Mondays. I was like,
Oh, right.
Okay.
all the days and times.
Cool. All right. Well, so listen, if you caught any wind of it,
I'm
I
sending the resources for you.
Yeah,
Oops, sorry.
so we put up, I put up a backing track for the tune, for the solo section of the tune, Two Monkeys Jump Back. I've also got a chart for the tune, and I've also got a worksheet for just the solo section. So what we're thinking about doing, one of the things we talked about last time was doing sort of a collaboration sort of thing where everybody contributes a solo. So I thought this might be a fun way to start that.
A group project.
Yeah. So I think the thing goes around 5 times, maybe more than that. I'm not sure, but if we get more people in on it, it's easy to extend. So the basic idea is download the backing track, put it in your dock, record a solo over it, and then send us back a mix of you with the track, and then the stem, and then your track only, so I can put that inside the track.
Do we want to do a video? Or
Maybe.
is it audio.
I don't know if you can do a video of it. That'd be amazing.
That'd be fun. Then we could
You
show
know,
it.
Yeah. If you want to do it, I'm going to wait till I have a few people in on it before I release it, though.
Yeah.
But you never know who we might get.
You never know.
Don, are these from the site you gave me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured.
But go in the chat. I just sent them over.
Okay, cool. But
Yeah.
those are from that same spot, right?
Yes. Yeah, they are. Yeah. So one of them is a chart for the whole tune, if you're interested in that, and then the
The
other
solo
is
section.
the MP3 is just a loop of just the solo section, just over and over and over again. So what I would say is, if you can do a solo over it, do it over twice through the chord progression. Okay.
Cool.
That makes sense?
And then our next time, are we going to do October 7th?
I think so.
14.
Let's.
Foliage Turkey Train Tour.
It should be good for next time.
Yeah. October 7th.
October
Monday.
7th. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah,
Sounds
that's
good.
Okay. In fact, we'll work on solos for it too.
Yeah, we'll all
Yeah,
be
John,
in.
work on your solos, will you?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, you always need to work on it.
Not you.
Yeah. So,
Cool, guys.
all right.
Thanks for
Well,
hanging with us.
All right.
Yeah, these
Happy
are listeners.
guitar.
Thanks for hanging.
I'm challenging you all to create something and finish it. Take
yes.
something you've already made and make another section for it. So you have 2 full sections. and then repeat the 2, and that'll be a full thing.
There you go.
Just get one done. Even if
I
you
could
don't
try
like
that.
it a lot.
Yeah,
You can always
definitely.
change it later, but you might end up with something you like.
Yeah, true. Cool. So Liam, school is going good, I hope?
Just start.
Yeah, I'm just doing one class for now because life is still a piece of crap.
Oh, no.
Fortunately,
No.
so just to keep the chaos down,
I understand.
I wanted to start because I didn't want to keep putting it off. So
Very
That's
smart.
yeah, that's smart. I think So sometimes it's good to sort of acknowledge your own limitations, but move forward anyway.
yeah,
I know,
Yeah.
as soon as I make a big goal, life just goes
yeah.
Right.
trying to
Yeah,
thwart
me
my
too.
plans.
Hopefully, get back to normal pretty soon. We're
Okay,
Yeah,
I hope
getting
so.
close, I think. So
Normal is the setting on my refrigerator.
right.
Other than that, I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Well, it was good. It was good to see you here, even if it's only for a second. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah. All
We'll
right.
see you guys
See
in
you, man.
October.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Have a great
Bye.
month, guys.
Yep.
You
Very
too.
As
cool.
always.
Thank you.
See
Good
ya.
hang.